Okay, so it's not a bad day today actually, no rain. So I'm going to mix up some fuel here and then I'm just going to go and do a little bit of chainsawing. I haven't got that much petrol left in the can, so I'm going to just do a little bit of trimming down the sides on the old pear tree that's come down. Look at this. Lovely old Shell motor oil can. God knows how old that is, must be 50 years old. You can just about make out it says Shell motor oil on the top shell. So bear with me, I'll mix some fuel up. I'm not going to video that bit because it's just a bit of faff, but there's that was right on there. 50 to 1, 20 millilitre. Mix that. Got my old petrol can here for the all high tech. I'm going to mix some of that up and then we'll go chainsawing. There we go, I've done a litre. I think a litre is enough for really what I want. So just going to top the chainsaw up and then I'll go. Okay, so I'll mix that up. I'm just topping up the old chainsaw here. Typical farmer workshop bench. Got me a cup of coffee here, look. And all sorts of bolts. Love a bolt. Always recycling, I always reuse bolts. You know, I save screws and bolts off old things. Because these are quite expensive and you can always reuse them. Nothing wrong with that, is there? No point chucking out and buying a new one. Anyway, typical farmer chainsaw as well, to be honest. Not very well maintained, I confess to that. Still works very well though. It's probably 25 years old, this still. I'll stick some fuel mix in it and a bit of chain oil. Here's some I mixed up earlier. There we go. This tin's nearly as old as me. Right. Chain oil now. Where's my chain oil? Bear with me. I think that's it. Chain oil. Sounds dumb, doesn't it? But I always like to mark on there the two different oils because it's very easy to make a mistake if you're in a rush and just grab one oil container. It's quite interesting. It's an organic oil. I think it's got bio oil in it, you know, like rapeseed or something, and it does go mouldy if you spill it on the container, like I do. So I just tip that in there. There we go. So I'm going to just go and do a little bit of trimming on that. I'll just check the air filter because quite often that gets bunged up with dust. Just make sure they're tightened up enough as well, because otherwise they tend to have a habit of coming undone while you're working. Let's have a look. Take the cover off here. This is why I found it. I couldn't get one to work very well, and it was all caked up with dust. Look, I've got my little my old toothbrush, and I use that to just unblock anything. Sometimes you've got to blast them out with an airline though. That's not too bad. You know, good enough for what I'm doing this afternoon here. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Right, let's go and do a little bit of chainsawing. Just going to change my wellies. Got the old chainsaw wellies on. Right, God, I can't hear anything now. Right, I'm not going to go and section this tree right down. I'm going to be cheeky today and just do some easy bits. So these bits I can just log off. What I think I'll do is, well, in fact my son Jack's already put a pile over there, but I think I'll pile up some stuff here. I might put a plastic sheet over it for now and just keep it here, because the plan is really not to put it in the woodshed at the moment, because I'll be putting it on top of wet stuff. But, sorry, I'll be putting it up on dry stuff I'll be using this winter, and this stuff's already wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pile it up here, put a bit of old plastic cider sheet over the top, and then I can move it in the spring, I think. I think that's the plan. Do we have a plan? Has anyone got a life plan? I haven't. Eat, sleep and survive. Not necessarily in that order. Oh. Oh dear. Even that guard in front of my eye still got a little bit of dust come through. I just showed this is really important actually. It's really good to stop dust out of your eye. Let's have a look at one of these logs though. So, all intents and purposes this tree's dead, but there's just a little bit in there. I think it's still, you know, it was still alive. It still had leaves on it earlier in the year, even though most of the rest of it's decayed. And that isn't ready to go on a fire by any means. It needs seasoning. So realistically, that's going to go. I've got a shadow on there. I've got a shadow on here. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. Is that my shadow? Whew. I can see a shadow on the lens cover, but then that just might be my imagination. I don't know. Oh, I see. It's on the log. I thought I got a little screen here, okay, and I look at to see when I can see myself. Hello, and you can see the outline of the camcorder. Actually, there's the little screen, the flippy screen on the right, and the camcorder and the tripod is just there, and it's reflected on the log. I couldn't work out what was going on. Okay, so well, let me hold the log a little bit clearer. So there you go. There's still some live wood in there, and so it looks really dead on the outside, doesn't it? But so these are going to be better stacked up. There's no way I'm going to stick that on a fire. That'll just steam and smoke and give a horrible smoke. But yeah, so I got loads of wood here. The thing I've learned since I moved to the farmhouse, because as you know I've moved to the farmhouse, and I do like an open fire now, it's no good cutting the logs too big. I need small logs because the big logs just do not catch in the same way as it's to do with surface area. I think they don't burn as well. So unfortunately for my poor mum, I've been cutting massive logs for her for years and not realising what she was on about when she kept saying asking for smaller ones. So I need to cut them small. I might have to switch to the bigger chainsaw at a later date, but we'll just start stacking a few in a pile, I think. Right, so we'll make the pile here. This is going to be our log pile for moving for next spring. He said there must be something in the woodshed. Is that Divine Comedy who sings that? I can't remember. He said there must be something in the woodshed. Whew. Sorry, and it's the dust. Yeah, so I'm flicking through this. Realistically, I've got, you can see there, it's getting quite chunky in that bit there. So realistically, this little saw's not really up to the job, so I'll have to switch saws to do the main trunk there. I'm going to turn around and just do this bit here now. So the skinny limbs, which are the easy ones to be honest. And do you know what? Skinny limbs are good because they make fantastic little logs. The trouble with the big trunk is that those are big logs, so they need splitting, really, ideally. But there's an element of sadness for me cutting this up, really, because this tree has been here all my life. I can remember when I was probably 10 years old, climbing to the top of it to shake the pears down, and we used to bag them all up, and we used to take them to Bland Cider, which is down at Oldbury, no longer there, and we used to get paid in cash for them, and because the cider fruit were ready about October time, we get cash, and then what we do is we go and buy fireworks with them, all the family, and we'd get the neighbours round, and we used that money to buy fireworks for the family. It's back in the 70s when there wasn't a lot of stuff around like there is now, and quite a luxury really for us to do that. I can remember it well. I think I probably fell out of the tree a few times as well. But back in those days, the tree was sort of probably near the end of its life, but still very much fruiting and covered in branches. They sort of cascaded down and had little pears on it about that big. So we just shake them, and then we'd all be underneath picking them up, us and the neighbours' kids. So you kind of got memories like that. Everything's got a story, you know, everything, when you get to my age anyway. The only good thing is I created a new story by the fact that we've got a new orchard here. So these old trees that are going, there's plenty of replacements there. Put those back in 9 years ago. So more trees are in here now than ever in my lifetime. Anyway, let's just do a few more let's do a bit more cutting down on the branches there, and then I think I'll call that a day really. Big saw time next time. Ooh, and the neighbour wants to use his electric chainsaw out here sometime. I had no idea what I didn't know you could get electric chainsaw. I thought it was on a flipping extension lead, but he said it's got batteries on it, so he's going to have a go with that sometime. I'm not entirely convinced it's going to be up to the job, but let him have a play and we'll see how we go. Right, let's just do one more little bit of cutting. Look at this. Okay, so I've pretty well been up the whole trunk doing the little easy bits. All I got left to do now is the roots and that bit there, look. Can you see that? All wood's good, realistically. And this is, ooh, hello. This is particularly good because the fact that this tree is right next to the farmhouse is just a dream, because, you know, it means I can just carry logs in by a wheelbarrow at a time, whereas, you know, if you're flipping things down the field, I've got to worry about getting down there all the time. But, you know, if I carry a wheelbarrow of logs in here every now and then and stick in the back of the shed in the spring, that's easy, isn't it? So I'm just going to take that root off, then I'm going to call it a day, and then I'll get the big boy chainsaw out another day and we'll do the trunk all the way down. But I'm quite pleased because it's not bad wood. All wood's good. Well, it doesn't take long to get through this lot, does it? I mean, you know, modern chainsaw, wonderful thing really. Like I said, some of this wood's sort of partly dead, but there is, you know, there's some logs up here. Here we go, look. You can still see. It's amazing how things cling on to life. Nature tends to. That bit's still alive, this bit's dead. Look at the line down there. Dead wood and light. Oh, it's even more pronounced on that side. Dead wood and live wood. So this poor old tree was hanging on for all it could, really. And you can see it down there as well, look. A little bit of life left in it. So anyway, look at these beauty logs. Stick those in the back of the shed to season and they'll be great. I might get Jack, because he's stacked up. Look, bless him, Jack. I didn't ask him to do this. He came out on his own accord and he stacked all these up for me. Do you know what? He didn't get it quite right because he's put them all up there and I still got to cut them up, but he meant really well, bless him. You know, and that's nice because he's got the work ethic in him. I like that. You know, he likes playing Fortnite and PlayStation stuff, but at the end of the day he doesn't just sit there and do that all day. Right, so I'm done here for today. I might try and find a big jumbo saw to show you what they used to saw these big logs with. And then I'll show you my lovely fire that I sit by at night, hopefully with a pint, because you need a lovely fire in the evening. I'm very lucky to have an open fire now. Very lucky to have open fire and sit there with a pint. Anyway, let's crack on. I'm going to put this away. Might try and find that big saw, show you guys, and then show you a nice roaring fire. Okay, so I've just come in the garage and I just thought I'd show you the big saw. Let me just get it down off the wall. These things are massive. Ooh, look at this. Ooh. Let's just put it down there. Look at this. This is a two-man saw. Look at this. So it's probably about 5 foot long. So one bloke on either side would get on the trunk of that, and he would saw. Don't know how sharp these are now. They look pretty blunt, really. He would saw either end. 2 people either end sawing like that. What a job! All done with the chainsaw now. What a job, eh? Amazing. There's another one here as well. Look, it's lost his handle, but bit slightly different, bit thicker at the bottom there. And these have been left here since they were used in, I guess, Victorian times. Amazing. Probably most of these end up in a museum now or on the wall of a pub.